Hello, welcome to Keyhole Conversations. It's always fun to peek into the secrets of the working writers, and today we have Tillie Dawson with us, our guest, who's going to tell all on her author who brought her to life in, guess what, an award-winning book, Feisty Family Values. Welcome to the show, Tillie. And by the way, I love my feisty button.
Yes, we feisty women have to stick
we
together.
We have to stick together, don't we?
Yes.
Well, I guess before we begin, how did Bonnie get the idea for this book? Oh, I just love this book. By the way, there's something I want to bring to your attention, because up here there's a little image of a ghosty little figure.
It's true.
Okay, anyway, how did she get the idea for this book?
Well, this crazy woman, she was going to school nights, going to college nights, working days. She had a family, she had kids at home, trying to keep a house, and she got the idea for this book. And the muse just wouldn't leave her alone, so during lunch hours and dinner hours she started writing, and it just sort of developed from there.
Isn't that amazing? Well, it's clear that you and Regina are friends, but sometimes you bristle at the things that she says. What's her most irritating trait?
Well, Regina's quite a package. She's a combination of snob and a person with a heart of gold. Her mother tried drilling in all sorts of bizarre, snobbish privilege and responsibility, and Regina had her own way of going and expressing herself. Her mother hated her long hair and her braid, and so Regina kept it as a little silent rebellion. She never had the chance to get dirty. She never had the chance to go barefoot in the mud. She had to always wear dresses. She wasn't allowed to have pets, and yet she turned out to be this great person. And I know not everybody knows that at first, but I've lived with her for a decade, and I know she's great. I promise.
And what is Regina's most redeeming quality? What makes her your friend and housemate?
Beneath Regina's cool demeanor beats a heart of gold. She was the one who took me in when my parents died and I had to sell everything off to pay the bills. And she was the first time I was diagnosed with cancer, she was dealing with her husband's death and depression. And she took me in and gave me soup and made sure there was a trash can by the bed. And we've been housemates for a decade. Not bad for a prissy miss.
Well, you know, a lot of daughters have mother-daughter issues, and Regina described her mother as unyielding. In what way was she unyielding, and how did Regina feel when she started having conversations with her dead mother?
Well, it scared her to death. She thought she was going out of her mind. But Victoria was Regina's mother, and she was the ice queen. And she was a very unyielding woman, and she especially had no patience for the poor side of the family, which Annabelle comes from that side of the family.
Yeah.
So when Regina started hearing voices of her mother's voice in her head, she just really started to worry me, because I would catch her sometimes having one-sided conversations, and I was glad I didn't hear Victoria's shrill voice, but poor Regina, she did. Victoria must have given up having such an influence once Regina gave the house to Annabelle and moved in with Sam. And I'll bet Victoria kicked her casket with her moldy shoes over that one.
You do have a way with words. You know, I loved the part about Mrs. Pickles, and I just wondered what role that kitty played in the story. You know, I'm a cat person.
Yeah. Well, soon after Annabelle moved into the house, she decided to go dig in the garden. That's kind of where her heart lies, is on the farm and growing things. And while she was out there, she found this big gray fur ball, and there was a cat attached to it. It turned out to be a very sick cat with only 3 legs, and she didn't have the heart to get rid of her. because she too felt like the odd person out in the house. And her and Ms. Pickles, they were pretty close after that. So we took her to the vet, got her fixed up, and Regina didn't have a whole lot to say about having her first pet in her house. I even catch her sometimes smiling and watching the cat. So I think she's getting used to her.
Tell me, Tillie, how did the cat come by her name?
Well, you haven't met Miss Pickles.
No.
But she has the greenest eyes.
Ah.
And Annabelle said they reminded her of sweet gherkins, so she called her Miss Pickles.
Well, if you could pick the most exciting scene in this novel, what would it be?
Oh, I wasn't there. But when Regina stands up to Liddy under the bridge in the park, look out. She takes that long braid and she flips it over her shoulder, and she takes a stance with the kids behind her, and Liddy didn't have a chance. So Liddy's Annabelle's daughter, and she has some anger issues and some alcohol issues, and she dumped her 3 kids on Regina's doorstep. And then a few weeks later, she comes back and wants them back. Well, the woman is totally messed up. So the kids didn't want to go. So Regina said, "You're not taking them." It was awesome.
Well, now it's time for you to let the cat out of the bag. Let's hear a secret that Bonnie wouldn't like the world to know.
Well, Bonnie's not very good at keeping secrets, but I think if there's one thing she probably wished she'd done was maybe started writing sooner instead of detouring into painting and singing first. I think that's probably what she wishes.
Well, thank you for coming, Tillie, and gosh, I've enjoyed it so much. You've been a blast. I'll tell you what, this is a must-read novel, folks. You're going to love it. It's just so exciting. You can get it from Barnes & Noble, and it's available in hardback and ebook for the Kindle at Amazon.com or the Nook, which you get from Barnes & Noble. So there you've got it, folks, and I hope you've enjoyed our show, but if you didn't, keep watching because we might grow on you. And that's it for Keyhole Conversations.